You don't necessarily want all these no-name people, and I'm gonna just say it, these women talking about sports who you don't even know these people. It's not working for you.
He ain't lying.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hoop Jargon back with another video. Before I get into the content, if you would take a second to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, please. All right, let's get it. We got a nice show. I got a reaction for you guys with Gil's Arena, and I love Gil's channel because I disagree with damn near like 50% of stuff he says, but I think he has a really good perspective from a former Hooper's perspective, and it's really good content for us to have dialogue from. In this current episode, he's talking about the return of Michael Jordan. For all my Martin fans, y'all appreciate this one. Jordan's probably back. Jordan's probably back, man. So NBC has brought Michael Jordan back on to be a commentator to try to help out the image of the NBA, I presume. And they will talk about it a little bit. I've probably seen about 20 seconds of this. So I'm going to come in hot, and we're going to talk about this, and I'll see you on the other side. Roll the clip.
NBC will be back to covering the NBA next season after securing a slate of games as a part of the league's new TV rights deal. And Monday, they made a huge announcement. Let's take a look at the tweet. It said, a legendary addition to our team. We're thrilled to welcome Michael Jordan as a special contributor to the NBA on NBC and Peacock. Ladies and gentlemen, MJ is back. There you go, Gil. He gets some smoke. Shout out Round Ball Rock. So aside from the Last Dance documentary on the Bulls that was released in 2020, MJ has largely avoided doing media since his retirement from the Wizards in 2003. So MJ joins an NBC roster that includes Melo, Jamal Crawford, and Reggie Miller as the NBA on NBC makes its return for the first time since 2002. Crazy to think that that was 23 years ago, last time we got to hear that theme song. See some play.
Since 2002.
Legendary basketball game.
Michael Jordan.
Okay, so here's what happened right now, y'all, from the way I perceive it. The NBA, as I talked about from video after video, is that they have an image problem. The perception is bad basketball, and it's a reason because it's so hyper-focused on three-pointers. It's so deficient on team ball. So guys like, and the NBA hates this, but they love it because the ratings are high. The guys on the TNT side, like Chuck, Shaq, Kenny, they constantly dump on the product because it's easily dumpable. So if basically, let me run it back like this. If what those guys were saying was wrong, people would ignore it and they would appreciate the game for how they want to appreciate it. Draymond Green, incessantly talks about this. But the problem is, like, what's my movie, Coming to America? He ain't lying.
He ain't lying.
So people know that this is a worse brand of basketball collectively. So what NBC is trying to do is try to come back, by the tentacle of the NBA to try to usurp that old spirit, bringing guys like Reggie Miller, like they said, and Michael Jordan, to kind of reinvigorate that feeling. Because people, I'm a boomer, I'm 41 years old, and I got to tell you guys, nothing was like that music they said, that nothing was like that when it was time for playoff basketball on NBC. So they're trying to reinvigorate that, kind of like how they remix the old songs or what have you. So to bring a guy like Michael Jordan to revalidate the product, that's what I see the NBA is doing. It's not so much of saying that, oh, this is so great. And I think that they're going to kind of allude to that you guys are not looking at it properly. No, it's kind of like, okay, guys, come on board. Let's bring the older fans back in and make them buy in. So I know it's a little longer to take, but I want to set the backdrop properly. Let's go ahead and roll it.
What's your reaction to Michael Jordan becoming a member of the sports media? Don't know if I ever thought I would see it happen, but this day is here.
Just gotta wait and see. I mean, is he gonna be around the table?
No.
He's special, because you might see him.
Just here and there, popping in, smoking a cigar. Yeah. MJ style.
Doing what he's doing.
Y'all gonna talk?
Now, what you think about MJ becoming a member of the sports media, joining the ranks of this legendary crew on Gil's Arena presented by Underdog? Woo woo. Two thumbs.
Two thumbs.
Two thumbs up.
Ain't no dime in my pocket.
I would have no
Congrats.
problem with Ant-Man.
Hey, yeah, Ant-Man Jr.
I have no problem.
Nah, yeah, Mike, congrats, great.
Gil, you talked about, just TV landscape. There's been a lot of talk as of late about viewership decline, all the things going on. Seems like NBC is trying to make a big splash. They're also going to do, I think, the return of the starting lineups before the game.
Starting lineups,
Player intros, giving players their
Exactly my point. Viewership is down because you've been promoting these old these old players like KD, like LeBron, like Steph, whereas you've been completely ignoring this young batch of young up and comers as far as like making them like main fixtures. So yeah, NBA, you have an image problem, right? Like you ain't been promoting Giannis like that, Jokic like that, Wemby like that. You're still holding on to this. Can LeBron get another big three? Can KD join the team? Now people are off that shit, man. They're off that shit. So it's funny how they're kind of incredulous about this, but this kind of goes in what I led in. I didn't even see this part. But yes, like you need to restructure the way the NBA is presented because this loosey-goosey style ain't working. That NBC style was very structured. Like they said, with the starting five, get to know the starting five. That's how you make familiarity, and that's how people connect to you. Because back in the day, we didn't have YouTube. We didn't have these, we had like trading cards in the newspaper and ESPN. That's it. And thank God to WGN news channel. So that's the only way we could, take it in. Then NBC was just the best way to present all those things together to get a good, formulation of the product. So now it seems like the NBA is going back to the basics, bringing that old thing back and bringing NBC back in. So that's what you're seeing going forward. Go ahead.
NBC, every time they had NBC, it was MJ. When he retired the first time, they left. Then they came back when he came back. And then when he retired with the Wizards, they retired. Now they're back together. And they're going to have all the views basically since early 2000.
Gil, my brother, no, you are so capped, bro. NBC was big. Now here's how life comes full circle. The Knicks and the Pacers are playing right now in the Eastern Conference Finals. That was what NBC was, sans Michael Jordan. It was just as big, dog. With Spike Lee on the sideline and Reggie Miller with the choking, right? With the steal. No, hit the three, get the steal, another three. That was NBC, bro. NBC was Spurs versus the Rockets with Hakeem Olajuwon and David Robinson going mano a mano. That's cap. Now, was a big part of it Jordan? Yeah, absolutely. But that was not the only thing, my boy. Like, it was plenty other matchups that NBC, again, with that dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun, it doesn't matter who was playing. When that was coming, it was time. It was time for, like, some real playoff basketball. So, Gil's a little bit younger than me, so maybe he misremembers things just a little. No, I think he's a little older than me, actually. But it's just funny how he misremembers things a little bit because no, it just was not Jordan against whomever, against the Cavs and stuff like that. No, it was way deeper than that, man. We go Supersonics versus Rockets, Suns versus Rockets. All those were classic NBC, bouts, at least from my era, from what I remember. So, no, it just wasn't Jordan, man. It just wasn't Jordan. Go ahead, roll it.
Bring it back to old heads.
It's already written.
So this is to bring more views?
No, he don't play, but they're gonna.
Oh.
No, they
If
report.
MJ say something, you're
basketball,
gonna watch.
right?
No, they report their views different than everybody else. They report totals. Like, so if you go back and really look, they had household views and then they had viewers, right? Two different views.
Okay.
So they're gonna show you their viewership, not that household stuff.
The difference is the desperation.
You feel like it's a desperate move on NBC?
Well, what's in the past that ain't dead? Okay, so we're going in the past and gonna bring some shit back
Bring it back to
because everybody feel like that's gonna make us feel whole again. Like we complain about the old school guys and what they complain. Then we bring them back into the fold to give more of what we say we don't like about the old school, the OGs, the haters. Why are we not moving forward? What's the forward plan? Because we are the forward plan.
Yeah.
We've created a forwardness to this.
Gil's Arena presented by Underdog Whoop Whoop.
No, they didn't see me coming. No, they didn't see you coming. You was with him. So y'all was already, you know what I'm saying? So we in a space now where, they didn't expect us to be here. Them coming back, they're bringing things back because they feel like what kind of artists is it gonna draw? Michael Jordan coming back? Oh, shit.
I'm just curious to see how much they will actually utilize him. Special contributor.
Yeah.
Obviously a very broad term.
It's
How
just a way to
special.
put his name back up there so he can keep his GOAT status.
Yeah.
But as the
All right,
goes to the
stop it.
conversation you talk about,
So see, this is Gil's deduction from everything that he's trying to establish himself as the GOAT. Well, listen, man, the crowd that he's bringing back, they already recognize Mike as the GOAT. So what you're doing is you're bringing that crowd back in to buy into the current NBA climate, which they have basically disavowed because it's almost like, why watch it? Well, you got guys on a fast break pulling up for three, right? You got guys shooting, I made a video 2 weeks ago about 45 missed threes in a game. So you've turned off a big part of the late Gen Xers and the millennials who just don't want to watch the shit no more, i.e. people like me. People like me who, 41 years old, I live, 25 minutes from Staples Center, well, crypto for that matter. I don't even want to pay for a ticket to go and see that garbage anymore. But the whole thing is you bring in my crowd to go back there who makes good money, who wants to go re-ingratiate themselves into spending money in the product. That's what the thing is. See, it seems as if they're so caught up on this GOAT stuff where, again, most people don't even acknowledge it in the first place. It's just too much of a disparity of success, right? But let's just say there's still a GOAT struggle with 4 championships and 6, whatever. The whole point is the NBA has shown that the ratings are down. So there is something missing. And Michael Jordan been a person who doesn't really speak like that. And that's kind of, added to his mystique. Like, he doesn't really do public affairs like that. Even when he played. Pretty much if he didn't talk to Ahmad Rashad or get a quick little post game, like Jordan wasn't out doing stuff like that. Even though he's doing commercials and stuff, you didn't get him speaking candidly. Remember how everybody said Jordan didn't do anything for the black community. He doesn't speak out. That's not his brand. His style is putting them J's out that we buy over and over and over again. Sit back with a cigar and do what he does, right? So ultimately speaking, now you're breaking that fourth wall down. And now Jordan is stepping down from Mount Olympus, as it were. And now he's just being a regular guy. That's the selling point. That's the buy-in. Roll it.
you talk about with LeBron and how Rich and them is trying to figure out how to get rid of the old guys so the new guys can have new legacies, right?
But the NBC is not going.
The old head said we ain't going nowhere.
We ain't going nowhere, right? So it's
Right
like
here.
even for the gatekeeping for our generation to try to step up and get those different seats, they gonna sit in them seats as long as they can keep them.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like the whole NBC thing, the whole NBA Jam feel, that was cool when we was growing up. They got Melo and Jamal over there, yeah, to keep it new and cool, but
So you think like TNT, they should be trying to get younger?
yeah. It's
Like-
the new time.
Yeah, I mean like a Draymond Green would, like, you know what I'm saying, like he would go right in.
You got to see how our personalities and perspectives already clash with the new guys. You already got Donovan Mitchell and
All right,
Jason
stop.
Tatum up in arms, but that's
Okay, so here's my problem with his perspective. The number one league, the sports league in the United States is what? The NFL. The NFL does not go young. The NFL does not go progressive. The NFL keeps it nice, stoic, to the point, and classic. And guess what happens every week? People line up and watch it again and again and again. Now, the programs that use like Amazon, who go the more younger route, those get the Thursday games. They don't get the prime games. The games when the popcorn's popping and the cookies are cooking and the beer is brewing, those gonna be your Fox games, right? Your NBC games, right? Those are your big time games, and you got these old commentators talking about football, and everybody is hanging on every single word. They're showing up to the bar, they're showing up to watch parties an hour ahead to hear the pre-commentary with all these old heads giving their insight to watch it go into the game. So I don't agree with Rashad McCants' assessment. Like, no, you don't have to go with all these youngins. That's not what it takes. You have to have a structure and have a relatable product that is nice and tight that people can observe and expect the same thing time after time after time after time. That's what NBC was. Now, somewhere from 2002, I believe they said when it dropped off, they lost their way. But if you come back and bring in Mike, because Mike wasn't a part of all that, you bring Mike back in, you reform a structure. Listen, man, you can reformulate a new formula that people will actually come and patronize consistently because they get a consistent product. You don't necessarily want all these no-name people, and I'm gonna just say it, these women talking about sports who you don't even know these people. It's not working for you. Again, the NFL model is the model to follow because you know the faces, you know the structure, and you're coming every week for the same thing, and the numbers, they increase every year. So if you want to basically try to be innovative at every turn, go ahead and try that. But why not do what is proven to work? And so kudos to the NBA for whatever tentacle brought, this format back in. Because again, with Jordan being a person you don't hear speak a lot like that, this is a good opportunity to re-ingratiate yourself with the older audience and give the newer audience a new perspective so you can move forward together and celebrate the game in the process. Let's go.
The old school guys look like they hating. Right, so we always look at them
TNT
like that.
obviously lost their NBA package, but inside the NBA, will continue getting licensed out to ESPN. Be a lot of crossover, Stephen A. and that crew and all.
Yeah, they're gonna slave the hell out of them boys.
Yeah,
I see
that's what Charles was saying.
Yeah. They're gonna slave all that shit you've been saying about them back in the day. They're gonna slave your ass.
LaQuint
24 hours shoe lockdown.
Damn.
You better come in there at 6 a.m. leave midnight, motherfucker, Charles. That's what they're gonna do. I'm just saying, there's gonna be some new stuff, but at the end of the day, man, it's entertainment is entertainment.
Yeah.
And, you guys are on TV handicapped by hours. And that's what they don't realize. You guys are hourly. You come on at a certain time and then sports continue. And a content creator can just outwork you in the time space that you're at home.
Yeah. And Shaw, you talk about us coming, kind of new media coming to this.
That's actually a great point by Gil, that content creators, we, for that matter, can outwork you. But the problem is content creators cannot create long-form content like this can do. So in short, digestible, little takes, yes, content creators have taken over the sports realm, the politics realm, the movie critique realm, you name it. Content creators is killing it right now. The problem is you're not going to have a long-form audience with that. And we see the NBA trying to do this with, with Drewski and Kai Cenat and all that. Those are cool little sideshow things, but you can't run a 3-hour program with Drewski. You can't run a 3-hour program with Kai Cenat, right? Those are good little all-star games. Yeah, go out there and go act a fool for like 30 minutes and then we'll get back to the real shit. So I think that scope is a little off because, again, short-form content, yes, content creators kill it with the 8 to 10-minute videos or the shorts that's like 30 seconds. Yeah, we kill it in that regard. But we're not out there just giving, on the fly, right there in front of athlete assessment. That's what's missing from this equation. So when you bring a credible person like Michael Jordan in, who 90% of the hoop world, quote unquote, considered to be the GOAT, to have him come in and speak. You know how Mike got that cool voice and he gonna talk and he gonna break it down like the way. It may have that Tony Romo effect where a guy just has that astute mind and has that charisma that just turns it upside down. So I think he's off with that assessment talking about, well, it's interesting he brings that up, but I think again, like I hate to keep disagreeing with this because I like this podcast, but I gotta keep it real. Authenticity is what we do over here. I think he's kind of missing he has the correct thesis, but he has the wrong conclusion. The conclusion is you bring these people in, you're going to revalidate that stuff, and you're going to, again, bring in an audience that you've been alienating for quite some time. Go ahead.
Rocking with us when we first launched Gil's Arena presented by Underdog. Woo woo.
It's unconventional, right? Very authentic, right? We don't have a stronghold saying say this, say that. Even the last episode, great entertainment, And people don't know the behind the scenes and how it never gets too wild, right?
Honestly, it's been so long, I forgot all about
Right,
Thursday.
right. But you just think about
Average
how
day in the arena, honestly.
people can confuse entertainment with personal sometimes, but the way we've built it, I think that it's a model. It's a model. Like that old model is the old model. It's like you're trying to keep pushing the whole first, like that whole,
That generation.
yeah, that panel with the suit tie, all that. You gotta come.
We just want
Think about the old
We're
days.
gonna come here with the humans
The old
on.
days
That's
got to
what he
come with the
created.
Payu's.
That's what I'm saying. But he created the environment where we can come in here and just talk barbershop shit, right? Talk what we all feel is our own opinions being the strongest.
Right.
Outbeat me on my opinion. Now, up there, they got to read the script, bro. It's a teleprompter shit. I done been on them.
No prompter in the arena. That's why I constantly look down at the computer, ladies and gentlemen. We want to keep it. We want to keep it thuggish over here. But we asked the chat, are you excited to see Michael Jordan in the media? 69% of the chat said they are excited. But Gil, like I said, MJ special contributor. We don't really know exactly what that means at this point. But what do you think MJ's voice will be like in the media space? Is he going to be educational, trying to uplift the game, or is he going to be salty and a hater, like some of the stuff we saw on The Last Dance?
No, he's going to be educational. MJ didn't hate when he played. He was the definition of what a superstar is supposed to sound like. So I don't see him getting rid of that to try to, save faith. All he has to do is just be himself and who he was, and just talk the game as it is. And everybody else is going to run another.
All right, stop it there. All right, we'll go ahead and end it there, man. It's a longer clip, but I think we got the most out of it, from their perspective of showing that they have a more new age approach to long form media. And reality is, nah, man, it's two different lanes. He mentioned in a poll that 69% of people were excited about hearing Jordan speak. Mic drop, that's it. People want to hear Michael Jordan talk because he does not speak a lot. So you're involving a whole new thing that a lot of people have been missing. So you can say that Mike was hating on The Last Dance, but listen, man, I remember being in the pandemic. I remember putting media out at the time when I had a young YouTube channel. Man, we were hanging on episode after episode after episode because we got to see Michael Jordan behind the mask, right? So I don't understand the trepidation about him coming and hating because Mike is competitive. Mike called it down the line, and it is what it is. He's an authentic guy. That's why people have always deified Michael Jordan because he didn't really have no slip-ups. He never really had moments where you see weakness in him or you see him hating for that matter. No, that's not what Michael Jordan was. Michael Jordan was excellence. He gonna cuss you out. He gonna tell you the real, and that's just it. That's it. So yeah, people want to see how that translates to him doing long form content. So with Gil kind of, still man that point that, yeah, man, Mike has never been no hater, so I don't see why he would be anything of such. So he nailed it on the head. So ultimately, man, good session back and forward. Again, I don't agree with their assessment, and we'll see who's right after it all. But I got to say, I'm the same person who told y'all almost 2 years ago that Gilbert Arenas was the best person to put in Undisputed once Shannon Sharpe left. Because Gil, he was a little low energy on this video right here. I mean, when you do podcasts over and over, like sometimes you just ain't got it. I know all about that. Shout out to T.I. But ultimately speaking, Gil is usually turned up, and his perspective is usually very much, it's out there, but it's very relatable. So I told you that, Skip should have brought Gil on and we saw what happened to Undisputed. So I'm telling you the same thing, just having a little bit of foresight. I'm not saying everything I say is gospel or what have you. But Jordan coming into this situation, in this climate with bad attendance, bad viewership, and people are just kind of like disinterested like never before, bring a guy like Jordan in, bring those late Gen Xers, or Gen Zers, y'all hear me out in the chat. Millennials, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be a better overall product. Hoop Jar can tell you first. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.